Welcome to pattern making class. This is Annette Julie, fashion designer and production pattern maker to the garment industry. Today in class we're going to be working on taking our full scale basic bodice with the 1 dart and making it into a basic bodice with 2 darts. So you're going to need some paper scissors, pen and pencil, some tape, clear plastic ruler, your pattern weights, and we've got our basic bodice and our pattern paper. This can be in paper, soft paper, or hard paper. Let's start by going ahead and making a grain line using our alpha numeric paper. And we're going to take our basic bodice and we're going to line it up to the grain line. And now we're going to go ahead and trace off. So I'm going to trace off my neckline, my shoulder, armhole, single notch in the armhole, now we're looking at the other side here, armhole and our side seam. And sometimes I'll put a straight ruler up against this to just help with the line. Keep me from drawing on my other pattern. And down here now we have the waist. And our waist notches. Those show that single dart. And then to our center front. Now we need to mark off our apex of our bust mound and our dart tip. Let's make sure we have everything. Looks good. And check for apex and dart tip positions. Yep. Right there. Put the block over to the side. And now we're going to connect the waist dart up to the dart tip. So we've got notch, notch, up to our tip of the dart, and then here is our apex. Now we can put that parallel grain line, parallel center front, all the way up and down, arrows going both directions, showing us that we're at least starting with the non-directional fabric. And this is going to be our basic 1 dart bodice. This is front, and then this is into a basic front 2 dart bodice. Bodice meaning the main piece that we start for a blouse or a shirt. Okay, so we use this for fitting and designing and doing lots of other things. So where the apex is now, let's go ahead and line the edge of your ruler up there. Here's my apex. Let's line up the ruler and draw a line perpendicular to center front. Right, you form a little right angle here. connecting through the apex all the way over to our side seam. Here we're at our side seam. That looks good. Now we need to take our long dart legs, bring that up to the apex, because we're going to create slash lines. So this dart here where the tip is, this is the dart that we would sew, those two legs. But the lines that we make up to the apex, those are for slashing and spreading dart manipulation. And so we're going to do a little bit of that, forming our new 2 dart block here. So let's go ahead and slash from the waist right up to that apex. That looks good. We can come here and slash again the long dart leg right up to the apex. And this can now be discarded or put to the side. Now we're going to go ahead and slash here from the side. And if this stays connected, fine. If it comes off, no problem. So here we have our basic 1 dart bodice right now. And we've taken the dart piece out from the waist. We don't need that. And we're going to, after we've slashed, and slashed, now we're going to spread open and create the new dart over on the side and split and make 2 darts. Now, of course, this would also be an option, which could be just 1 side bust dart. But we're going to make a great block that has 2. So you can grab some other paper and we'll place it underneath our 2 voids. You can also trim down your paper too. And I always keep my scraps to use them again. Let's grab a piece of paper. That looks good. You could put 1 big piece of paper underneath there, or 2. And I have scraps I'm using, so I'm going to use 2. First off, I'm going to go ahead and take down the side of the dart that's closest to the center front. But if the numbers are confusing here, you don't have to worry about lining them up. You could also just flip that over and just have that as white space. Okay, so I'll go ahead and grab some tape. And I'm going to tape down the dart leg. This is at the waist. That's closest to the center front. Going to grab another piece of paper. I already have it here. These are a little big. I'll trim them afterward. Like I said, I'm just working with some scraps. And look, I put the white part up without the numbers so we can see the dart a little bit better. Now I'm going to tape down the side that's closest here to the armhole. Okay, good. So now we need to go ahead and space things out evenly. And the dart that we were working with, the one that was our original waist dart, it is at 4 1/8. So let's see if these can be about 2 1/16. Let's see what that looks like. There's 2 1/16. Let's just weight this down and let's measure down here and see if we are very close to 2 1/16, and we are. So I'm going to show you what I did here. The original dart, this piece that we kept over to the side or you threw on the ground for a second, if this is that 4 1/8, which it is, then, 2 1/16 and 2 1/16 should mathematically turn out about right. And I'm happy with that. And I'm going to go ahead and tape this down. Check one more time. And we're taping down our new 2-dart bodice. Go ahead and get rid of a little bit of extra paper if you'd like to. And on the back, you can keep all the paper, but you can also sort of trim it down. Great. Now we're going to go ahead and back the darts off from our apex. We're going to back off 1 inch for this standard size 8. I can write that on the front too. A few more things to write on there. Back that off 1 inch. Take those dart legs down to the waist. Great. Now that's our new dart tip for the waist dart. And then we're going to fold the bottom to see what the waist looks like afterward. And then here for the side bust dart, you're going to go back 1 inch and you're going to center it. Same with this one. Go back 1 inch and center it. Find the middle. Go ahead and draw the dart legs to the side seam. And we're going to fold the side seam dart too to see what that looks like. And here we have a new dart tip. I think I'll put down a little bit more tape. Little bit there. And I'm about ready to fold this, so I don't want it lifting up too much. The rest looks pretty good. So with this dart, we're going to take the dart leg and we're going to lift it up so the pickup can hang down. Okay? And for this dart here, we're going to pick the dart leg up, bring it to the side so the pickup can go towards the center front. In order to do that, I'm going to fold on the tip of the dart, and I'm folding sort of like perpendicular to the dart there, I would say. And then I'm going to crease the lower dart leg without trying to get the other piece in to the crease. I'm creasing it until I get to the tip. And then I'm lifting it and laying it on top of the other dart leg that I drew. So now they're on top of each other. You can weight that down. And you can use some magic tape. And what I mean by that is you can take the tape and put it on your hand, and it becomes easier to lift up and down so you're not ripping your pattern. Give this a little bit of a fold right on where that side seam is. And that's going to show us what that dirt's going to look like. Let's go ahead and unfold it now. I'm going to take that magic tape off. And we can see it goes into this point. Like so. And you can always make a little arrow to show the direction of the fold. And then we have another dart over here to fold. So we're going to fold where the tip is. Fold that across pretty much perpendicular to the opening of the dart, so that we can go ahead and crease the dart leg that is closest to the center front. Creasing it all the way to the tip. From the waist up, now I'm laying it, bringing this over and placing and laying it down, creasing that. We can go ahead and grab our tape. Pop that down there. Just crease that a little bit, show myself what it's going to look like underneath there. Lift it up. Shows me exactly where I creased it. Looks great. So now that is our 2-dart basic bodice. You get to use this for many designs. I can show you the direction of the arrow. It's always good to get your name on things and write a date. And if this is a master pattern that you're using to start other designs, then like this block that I put into a hard paper, we would cut this out. And you could always put this into hard paper before cutting it out. You could do it afterward. But I'll make a separate video on putting blocks into hard paper. We call this manila. We call that hard paper tag board or manila. If you have some construction paper, that could work out fine as well. So I cut the neckline and the shoulder. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut my armhole. And I always take short little cut marks there. So I keep a nice little curve. And I like to go down and then come back for the cutting. Now, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to come back to these darts. I normally just continue around a circle. But let me go ahead and cut up the center front here. And I'm going to show you something, how you can also handle the edge of the dart if you don't have a tracing wheel, or you don't feel like folding it, and creasing it. You could, instead of folding and creasing and drawing it, when you're at the point of the folding and you put some magic tape down there, you can cut the seam all at one time. Now, one thing that I like to do, when I've dealt with the seam before and put a little popped a dart over there, I do like to check and make sure it's absolutely straight. Because look, that might indent almost 1/8 of an inch, maybe a 16th. So I'm going to straighten that out. And I could open and cut it, but I can go ahead and cut this as it's all folded on my newly corrected side seam. Et voila. See, look, that went out a little bit because of the straightening. So that was a good choice to do that. And then down here at the waist, we could also go back to our folded position if you want to. Okay, and what we can do here, try to fold that a little bit more perfect. What we can do here is we can also do a little equalizing at the waist. Bring that down. And you can cut this as it is folded. And I brought that down a little bit. I didn't get the pickup, so I've got to go back and cut through a couple layers and some tape. Hope that's okay there. Remove our magic tape. And there's our dart. That looks great. So being that this is a pattern that you would use over and over again, your basic front bodice draft, you do not use seam allowance on it. You put that on after you make a new design. This is Annette Julie, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.